Horror movies rarely surprise us anymore. But imagine a film that transforms from a rich period drama about blues music into something far more sinister, and does it so masterfully that you never see the darkness coming.
You know, that's what makes Sinners such a fascinating piece of cinema. The way it uses 1932 Mississippi as more than just a backdrop really sets it apart.
Well, let me tell you about these twin brothers, Smoke and Stack, both played brilliantly by Michael B. Jordan. They return home after working for Al Capone in Chicago, and before that, fighting in the trenches of World War I. That kind of shared trauma really shapes their story.
So they come back with fancy clothes and bootlegged liquor to open a juke joint. That's quite a statement in Depression-era Mississippi.
And what's really interesting is how the film uses this juke joint as a microcosm of 1930s society. You've got Delta Slim, this legendary blues musician played by Delroy Lindo, who can't say no to a drink. He represents this whole generation of musicians who lived hard and played harder.
Speaking of musicians, tell me more about this character, Sammy Moore, the preacher's son turned blues performer. That's such a powerful contradiction.
Oh man, Sammy's story is fascinating. Here's this young sharecropper nicknamed Preacher Boy, who's literally torn between heaven and hell, his father's pulpit, and the devil's music. When he performs this original song, I Lied to You, in the juke joint, it's like watching someone's soul catch fire.
Well, that's what makes the supernatural elements work so well later on. You've already established this world where the sacred and profane are constantly dancing together.
Exactly. And when Jack O'Connell's character Remick shows up with his missionary act, everything shifts. The film takes this sharp turn into Southern Gothic horror that somehow feels completely natural because all the pieces were there from the start.
You know what's really clever about that transition? The way they use the prosthetics and visual effects to make it feel period appropriate, like something out of an old folk tale rather than a modern horror movie.
And let's talk about how they handle the relationships. Smoke's connection with Annie, the hoodoo conjurer, and Stack's unresolved feelings for Mary. Each relationship carries its own kind of danger, its own kind of power.
The way they weave in elements of hoodoo practice and religious imagery feels so authentic to the time and place.
That's because Ryan Coogler, really did his homework on the period details. Everything from the costumes to the way people interact feels grounded in reality, which makes the supernatural elements hit even harder when they appear.
So what you're saying is that by the time things get truly horrific, we're already invested in this world and these characters.
Precisely. And there's this line in the film that really captures everything. If you keep dancing with the devil, one day he's going to follow you home. It's not just about supernatural horror. It's about how our past catches up with us.
Well, that certainly applies to the brothers' gangland past and their war experiences.
And you know what's really brilliant? The way the film uses music throughout. The blues becomes this thread that connects everything, joy and pain, sacred and profane, past and present. It's like the heartbeat of the story.
That reminds me. The technical aspects of how they film those juke joint scenes are pretty remarkable too.
Oh yeah, the way they capture both the energy of the crowd and these intimate personal moments. And here's something interesting. Viewers need to stay through the credits because the story continues even after what seems like the main narrative ends.
Sounds like this fifth collaboration between Coogler and Jordan really pushes some boundaries.
That's what makes it so special. They're taking these familiar elements of horror, period drama, and musical film and creating something entirely new. It's like watching genre boundaries dissolve right before your eyes.
And in doing so, they've created something that speaks to both historical truths and contemporary anxieties.
You know, at its heart, this is a story about power. Who has it, who wants it, and what price we're willing to pay to get it. Whether that power comes from money, music, faith, or something darker, well, that's what keeps you thinking long after the credits roll. This is a fabulous movie, highly recommended, and we give Sinners a score of 8 out of 10.
You've been listening to Movies First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.